Hey, Southern Ontario sports fans, thank you so very much for checking out the Sportsline Podcast on the CHCH and Parrot Media platform. I'm Bubba O'Neill. Well, friends, CHCH social media lead Amanda Destro gave me some info today that we are closing in on the 250 podcast mark. So thank you so much for all of your interest in our local sports scene that is doing so well in so many different sports, and we're doing it all over the planet. Folks, the National Football League is back, and let's be honest, there is nothing bigger or attracts more attention. Just about 125 kilometers down the road in Western New York is a team that some say are the favorites to win Super Bowl 60. Among so many things when it pertains to officiating, for 3 decades, Hamilton native Steve Foxcroft has been a member of the NFL's chain crew gang that maintains and measures first downs. It's a special season for the Buffalo Bills, so let's bring in the man better known as Foxy
and Bubba back together again. And you know, I have to remind your viewers on the podcast that when you started this thing, because you're approaching 250, when you started this thing, the first podcast, I thought I would be the guest because we did a cable TV show in Halton for 25 years together or something. So I thought naturally he'd call his buddy Foxy.
There it is.
So there we are, way back in the day.
That's like the late 80s.
That is late 80s. Yeah, like whatever number of grades of times through grade 11 we were about then, that was about us. So, but I remember calling you to say, Bubs, I'm a little hurt that I wasn't the first guest, and your answer was typical, like that picture showed. You're in fine form without missing a beat. You said, Foxy, I considered it, but Donovan Bailey never comes second. He's first at everything.
Had to be.
So he's the first guest.
Well, you were top 3, I think.
I think I was top 3. Yeah, I think I was top 3. But I couldn't even be mad at you. I said, no, that's a good answer.
Well,
okay.
You know what? Hey, the good thing is I've only had Donovan on once.
You've been
on this one your third time.
There's a little rut in this sofa for me.
Actually, the first time he came in, he was in a suit.
Yeah.
Now he's in a hoodie.
In a hoodie.
He's relaxed.
I'm relaxed now.
And thanks for joining me in the hoodie. I wanted to be the Sportsline Podcast to be something really comfortable for people.
Oh, it is.
Right?
And it is. And you've done great. So congratulations on approaching 250.
I got a lot of people helping me out and making this work, and people like yourself. And as you well know, and you've been saying it forever, I use this line on the podcast. I mean, we hung out for a long time. If you can make it in Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara, you can make it anywhere. And those are your words.
That's right. We've said that for years. And also, you said we're talking about the National Football League, but that's not how we say it together. We say it like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The National Football League. That's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? From basketball, obviously, because of your father, you became an official, a high-ranking official in the OUA. You CIS, you did some NCAA games in Western New York, but I know you did a little football, and actually your brother Dave was a guy that did way more football than you did. How did you kind of morph into this chain crew gang? And I know a certain newly inducted Burlington Sports Hall of Famer had a little something to do with it.
Yeah. Pete Moore is the guy you're talking about. But how I got so brother Dave and I got into officiating together, and we were both doing football and basketball. So what happened, though, was I was doing football. And as you know, most of the games back then, not every field was turf. So I'd be out in the afternoon, freezing cold, muddy. I'd come in after the game, filthy. My shoes were ruined. I'm cold as can be. And my buddies would be in the gym refereeing a girls' high school basketball game. And they're dry and warm and making more money than me. So I said to brother Dave, I said, we're crazy for doing this. I'm going to go do basketball. Forget this football baloney. And brother Dave goes, well, no, I'm going to stick with football.
Right.
And look what he did. 25 years CFL. Now he's in the replay center every week. In fact,
the replay center. No longer the command center.
No longer the command center. They don't give commands. They look at replays. So he's in the replay center, and we'll talk about what he did on Monday in a little bit too. We got to talk about that because he was the guy who made that call. But he did great. And he was a genius. But then I just stuck at it through a basketball or officiating friend of the family asked me to do the chain crew in Buffalo 34 years ago.
34 years
so
ago.
I stayed in football that way. It allowed me to stay in football. And it's 10 games a year in Buffalo. One game a year, you look at yourself and say, why are we here? Because of what I said earlier, the weather.
Yep.
Like one game a year, you think, why are we even here? Like it's crazy. So that's how I got started.
To the uneducated, and obviously if you played the game, maybe to some extent you would understand what your role is. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, because I know I've talked to so many people that are still learning the game. And because it is one of the more technical games with different types of rules. So I would ask you, what is the chain crew?
Yeah.
What do they do?
We're a big deal, but not a big deal. And we're more of a big deal when it matters. Like the Bills playoff game, Kansas City last year, the chain crew became a big deal. They were the story. So we measure the first downs. It's 10 yards to get a new set of fresh downs. And the big thing for us now, because you've probably heard the Hawkeye system.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So we are the placement of the ball and keep track of it. And then the big thing that I do anyway, I help the refs with penalty mark-offs. Believe it or not, a lot of times they go the wrong distance, or they go the wrong direction, or something like that. Or also replay reviews when we go back. So we've all moved, and then there's a challenge, and they may deem the play overturned. So I'm the guy who tells the refs, okay, this is where we were. I keep track of it on my pole. I have a card. So I say it will be 3rd and 7 on the Bills' 44-yard line. And we might be on the New England 20.
Right.
Back we go. But that's our role too. So
you're right there. So just for people to know, you are right on the sidelines, like you are seeing it all. You may have the best seat in the house because you're always on the ball.
Yeah, always on the ball. I have the best seat in the house. I'm the guy who has the pole with the number on it. There we see it. So I keep track of the downs and I move with the ball. We start on the visitor's side. So on TV, I'm at the top of your screen in the first half. Bottom of your screen, we switch over to the Bills sideline in the second half. Bottom of your screen in the second half. So yeah, I'm literally on the ball every snap for 34 years.
Amazing. And I'm sure you have seen and heard some amazing things, some things we cannot repeat here.
Exactly, yeah.
But is there a memory?
Tons of memories. And it's more like as we talk and you'll say a team or something, like Mike Tomlin, one of the best communicators. I love listening to Mike Tomlin just talk. Like he's so good. Kyle or Mike Shanahan, Kyle's dad, when he was in Denver, he would come up and ask me questions. Like he would say, is he close? Like how much do we got to go? Is it 3rd and 1? Is it 3rd and 2? And then he would coach off of that. So sometimes, and then of course you see Mike Vanderjack, a guy we grew up with, where you can go Tim Tyndale from Western University, Nathan Rourke recently. Like you see people and they've made it, and it's nice to just be on the field with them. And we're about that. We're about the local people. Like on Monday, and I know you ran into him too, Jesse Lumsden.
Yep.
Like he was with Seattle for a little bit too. Running into these guys, and and Ticats of course too, but running into these guys that we grew up with too is just a thrill, and it's special. But
it is.
But then I'm standing next to Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Brett Favre and all these guys. I remember when they first came to the Sky Dome, when they had that series of games. But before that, it was John Madden who pushed the button to open the roof. And I'm sitting next to Troy Aikman. I think it was Dallas who was in. It was Troy Aikman or maybe Brett Favre. And they were in awe of the Sky. I call it Sky Dome then.
I still do too.
So of the Sky Dome roof opening. Like they're just in awe of seeing that.
Yeah, that goes back some time. I do remember that. What was it? Rogers NFL, and then they kind of focused in on the Bills. And,
That's right.
It was some big thing, hoping that the NFL was going to come to Toronto. Yeah, but I think we all knew that was never going to happen.
And it wasn't going to happen in Sky Dome, I think. But another couple. Those are the memories of just people and being beside them. The other memories are getting hit. Like getting whacked, and there's been a couple of those. Yeah.
It's coming quick.
It's coming. And it's usually not the ball carrier. It's the before or after. It's the big old linemen that are pulling guards and stuff like that. They're coming at us, and if you watch the ball, then you're not watching what's in front of you. So you have to be very careful. And I've had, you learn the hard way. But I'll tell you this, Bubs. Over the years, I get out a lot quicker now. Like, Like before, when I was younger, like you and I, when you were hitting me as the quarterback, when you were at Assumption and sacking me when I was at MM Robinson, I could take the hits back then. But now I'm in the third row. I'm like gone. But there has been a few of those instances where I've got whacked.
Give me the number one.
The number one was Brian Cox from the Miami Dolphins.
He's a fish.
He hated Buffalo.
Yep. He
hated Buffalo. He hated Jim Kelly. Well, he sacks Jim Kelly, who was rolling out, and both of them land on top of me. And it might have been the game where he came out of the tunnel giving the fingers.
That's right. He did.
To the crowd.
Yes.
And he got fined $10,000, like $5,000 a finger. So he was in a surly mood that day.
Yeah.
So he sacks Jim Kelly at the sideline, who was rolling out. They both land on me. Well, I am done. And I just remember Jim Kelly asking me, like, you all right? Because he just got sacked. I go, yeah, I'm all right. Like, and then we all help each other up, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Other ones are the chain crew makes fun of me for this one, where there's a couple games a year where we have to wear every bit of clothing we have just to stay warm because it's cold. Yep. Well, I got knocked down once, and I was like a weeble, where I had so much clothes on, I was just rocking like a turtle on a shell, right? And they're trying to help me up, and I could, because it's icy and I'm slipping, and finally I say, turn me over, and then go under and lift me up. And the chain crew never lets me live that down. I had too much clothes on.
Right.
That's what it was.
Well, you talk about moves, because yes, you have to be pretty shifty on the sidelines. But when it comes to moves, there's a move, and I know we discussed this the last time you were on the show. We were kind of talking about your gig, but I think it bears worth repeating. The Aaron Andrews move.
Oh yeah.
When
the Aaron
because
Andrews
it's true.
move, yes.
When I'm at home watching my Buffalo Bills, you sometimes, in the most timely fashions, appear on my TV screen.
That's true. Okay, the Aaron Andrews move. We'll tell the podcast viewers about this one. So chances are this Sunday, the Ravens are in town, and we're on national, right?
Yes.
We're on national TV Sunday night. So there's the Aaron Andrews move there. I have a knack of knowing when the sideline reporter is going to be on, and I'll just happenstance, walk in behind. And this has caused my phone to blow up over the years more than anything. And people go, you are you. Like, you are just so when I have a new person on the chain crew, a young kid who's joined us or something like that, I'll say to them, follow me. Yeah. I'm taking you national. We're going coast to coast right now. So they just usually trail behind me. And you got to time it where when you're right behind the reporter, where they're not blocking the camera angle, you got to time it where you turn your head. You give it the so it's a knack, and I do it with the sideline reporters, and then usually, and they got away from this a bit, but they've come back, is the coaches' interviews as they go off the field at halftime. Yes. So I dart to find the coach and the interviewer, and I usually do it then too as they're going off at halftime. But they got away from that for years, but they've brought it back. I've noticed in the last couple of years, you see it. Like
those halftime, what do they give you really?
They give you nothing.
They give you nothing, right?
But I think on national games, they're getting back to that, right? Where, like, was it Schottenheimer last night in the Dallas-Philly game? I think they interviewed Schottenheimer, who I like. He impressed me last night.
I thought the Cowboys impressed me a little bit last night. They did play well. I mean, Eagles were missing their best defensive player.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. But that's the move, the Aaron Andrews move.
No, the move has been very effective, because I have been one of those people texting you going, please get off the TV, please. Yeah. Would you stop this right now? But you know what, though? I think your years of television too probably gives you the good knowledge on
right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, I think of the many things you do, and you do talk about being in Buffalo and being in the chain crew, and you know, there are people that probably work in the likes of Houston or New Orleans. I mean, they got the dome situation where, you know, you can wear whatever you want to wear. But with Buffalo, as you said, there's always going to be one of the 10 or 9 or 8 games that there's going to be problems. I think about that Bills-Colts game from some time ago.
Yes.
Like, what? How do you?
Yes.
How? Okay, you talk about that. You have to measure out the first. Like, how is it done in these conditions?
That's a good point. So early on in that game, the first series, and there you see the number 4 on the box there. But early on in that game, it might have been Sean Hockley or Alan Kemp, but anyways, the ball's down, and it's the first drive, and he's given the team a first down. And I know it's like 2nd and 3. Like, it's not even close. So at the first media timeout, I called him over, and I said, look, that last play, it was 2nd and 3, and you gave him a first down. I go, so why don't you put the ball down? I'll put the pole down, and then you'll see where it is in relation to the front stick, and then you can announce what down it is. He goes, Foxy, thank you. Because he goes, I had no idea where we are. I can't see a thing out here. Yeah. And I also have a flight at 7 o'clock. I want to get out of here if the plane will leave, like, because it's snow everywhere, right? But that's the one thing in Buffalo. A foot of snow at the game, 10 miles down the road or 15 kilometers down the road, the airport's dry because we're in a snow belt, right? Like Jack Armstrong said it best when they built the new stadium without a roof, and everyone's complaining, like, why would you build a stadium there without a roof? Jack Armstrong, Raptors announcer, Bills season ticket holder, and lifelong family friend to us and you and everybody. But Jack said it best. He goes, really, they should just move the stadium 5 miles outside of the snow belt.
True.
Like 5 miles either side, it's dry.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It might be cold still, but there's no snow because people need to know it is. If you got Steve Ruddock here with the Doppler radar, he'll show you that it's a snow band.
Yes.
And that's what technically they probably should have done.
Well, we've seen some crazy games where, we see this in the Canadian Football League, where places like Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, where all of a sudden it's a beautiful day and all of a sudden in comes a storm out of nowhere.
That's right.
And it's generally wind and rain, and obviously in Buffalo, as you said, the snow belt, we see these kind of crazy conditions.
And I remember my brother, one of his Grey Cup games in Ottawa. It was Argos, Bo Levi in Calgary.
Yes.
And you're there before the game, but by the time the game started, there was 6 inches of snow on the field in Ottawa, and that wasn't that long ago.
No, that was a great Super Bowl, great cup actually.
Yeah, Argos.
That's with Shania Twain.
Yeah, Shania Twain
coming out with
the dogs on a sleigh. where before the game, when she practiced earlier in the day, they had wheels on the sleigh, and during the game, they had to take the wheels off and use it as a sleigh.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That was a wild game.
But again, weather is a factor. Right?
Well,
all the time.
It's amazing to me that you guys can work in those kind of conditions and be as efficient as you are, because, obviously, as you know, as being a basketball referee, an NBA observer as well, too, that really we don't really hear about the refs, and no one comments about the refs until you do something wrong, or there's a missed call or an incorrect call.
That's right.
Whatever the case is.
It's funny too, because I work with all the officials, some of them come from warm climates and they don't know what they're in for.
Right.
Like I always take extra clothes and extra those hand warmer, foot warmer things, because I've seen people, and I've seen it with quarterbacks too. Ryan Tannehill playing for Miami back in the day, he wanted to be anywhere else but Buffalo that day because of the cold. He just didn't know how to handle it. And it's the same for officials and spectators and so on too. It's hard to deal with the cold. And especially in my job too, I can't wear gloves. So my hands, I have to put them in pockets with hand warmers and stuff. And then I made probably, and Bubs, you and I, you're the smart one. I was always accused of like riding on your coattails when it comes to genius. Well, you would have told me to do this years ago. I've been doing it 34 years, but it took me like 24 years to buy a heated vest to wear.
Yes.
Like, why? You should have kept pumping that into me.
AA batteries, man. Right?
Exactly.
That's all you do.
So now I have the heated vest, and that helps a lot.
Well, you're in the below, man. You need that kind of stuff. Hey, one last thing before we leave the actual sideline discussion. Grumpier person to deal with, Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, or other?
Ooh, that's a good combo.
And I'm just presuming that they're grumpy.
I think I'm going to say Belichick in that, because Parcells could turn and be okay every once in a while. Like he was Grumpy McGrumperson, but he could be okay at times too, if you know what I mean. Where Belichick was just Grumpy McGrumperson all the time, like 100%.
Really?
No, and he was so anal and worried about stuff about the locker rooms being bugged or stuff like that. Like,
really?
Yeah, like just stuff.
Paranoid.
Yeah, like paranoid. That's the word. Are they filming us practice? practice? Are they doing this?
They got accused of inflating footballs.
Yeah, exactly. So
deflating footballs.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, why are you paranoid? Because are you doing that?
Really?
You know, like, so the grumpy part is that. Like, I think he was just grumpy most of the time.
Really?
You know, but you know, at that level, players and coaches, most of them are pretty good people. Most of them are good citizens. And to your point, what you said earlier, like referees, they only stand out in the media when something goes bad, right? Yeah. But same with players. Like when you count the number of players in the league and the number of players you hear about doing weird stuff, most of them are outstanding individuals.
Right.
You know, you and I covering all those kids growing up for years and years and years, and you continuing on doing it now in our area and nationally. You run across great people.
Yeah, you do.
You know, it's good people. Yeah.
Your job is undergoing, like many sports, some type of metamorphosis, and I don't know how you want to describe it. I don't know if it helps or it hurts. I've heard some people say this is the way to go. I've heard some people kick back saying it takes too long. I'm talking about the Hawkeye technology, which we see in so many other sports. And I'll just quickly say this. I think in tennis, because there's just the line officials and it's either in or out, like it works. It's beautiful.
Right.
And it's fast.
Yes.
It's really quick. The ball is either in or out. It comes up on a screen and it's over with. And it's done in like 10 seconds.
Yes.
In football, there's a lot of people on the field. There's a lot going on. It could be snowing. Do you think that this is going to help? Or are you still sort of questioning where this goes?
I think they're trying to make it consistent and correct. I still think the difference between football and tennis, like you said it, tennis, you're in a court that never moves. So they can set up Hawkeye, no problem. Never be wrong. But in football, think about it changes every play. Like it changes every series. So the Hawkeye has to be set up almost differently every series, every time there's a first down. Where in a tennis stadium, nothing changes for 3 to 6 hours. So it's easy there. I like the Hawkeye system. I think it's great. But nothing really changes too much in terms of the visual. So that helps with the measurement. But it still comes down to, getting back to that KC Bills playoff game, it still comes down to the spot of the ball being correct. You can have all the Hawkeye measurements you want, but the argument will still be like that Bills game. It wasn't the measurement as much, it was the spot. So I think that's what's still going to be controversial, is the spot of the ball. So there you see the virtual measurement. It's easy to do, but if no one agrees on the spot of the ball, then the measurement is still what it is, right?
Well, and it will always be an issue because it's a massive humanity.
Right.
Again, you're right on the ball. You see it, and then all of a sudden, like people clashing, and you've got a ball that's this long and this wide,
right?
And you've got to figure out and decipher, and it's tucked away because the running back or the quarterback has tucked the ball away. And I think that's so hard.
Yes, because Hawkeye doesn't do it during the play. It does it afterwards when the ball is spotted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the real Hawkeye that would be great is if they had the technology where during that play, he did, you know, because football's big on forward momentum and the spot there and all that. But if he does one thing, then the spot changes. If he, you know what I mean? So if the Hawkeye was in the ball itself during the play and he broke the plane, say, of the goal line or the plane of what they need for a first down, I think people would accept it. But it still doesn't come into play until after the ball is spotted. And that's the tricky part, what you're saying. It's a massive humanity. Like even in the Labor Day game with the short kick at the end, who knows who came up with that?
Yeah, it's true.
And any short kick. Who knows who comes up with fumbles and stuff like that? It's tough.
I don't know if this works. I mean, and you've probably looked at it, examined it even more. And this is, I've had people tell me this. Why can't they just put a chip in the ball?
That's right. That's what I'm getting at, is that would solve the problem of where the spot is, right? So I don't know if they're looking at that, if that's something, or if the rules. See, that's the other thing. Do the rules allow for that? Like, for example, they rule you down, your knee touches, but then you run 3 more yards. So does the spot, like the chip then would go 3 more yards. So then how do you bring it back? You know, then you're back to a human spot of the ball, not a chip spot of the ball. I think there's that there's so many instances in football where sometimes the chip where the ball isn't necessarily the final spot. Right? Like all those, like a quarterback sneak or something. When do you rule
Tush
them
push.
stop? Tush push.
Yeah.
When do you rule the runner has been stopped? Forward progress and that kind of thing. So I think it would work in many instances, but not all instances.
And again, you got the shield on you right now, and you don't have to give away any state secrets or whatever. Were you guys given memos or videos, or was there something that how they worked this in with you guys as a chain crew?
Yeah, we did a call for the whole league with videos and do's and don'ts and stuff like that. Most of it is stuff that we've practiced through the years and so on. But they do say, like, we don't do anything different. We're still there because there's several things that come into play there is when a receiver say we're not there because they're using Hawkeye. But if a receiver, it's 2nd and 7 and he does a 5-yard out, he doesn't know after he catches the ball where the yak yards need to take him for a first down if there's no visuals. So they said we'll always be there. We'll always be there for visuals. Or picture this, a quarterback rolls out, wants to make a throw. He looks at me to see, am I past the line of scrimmage? Where, like, if I'm not there, the quarterback's guessing as, does he have to tuck it and run, or can he still throw it? Is it an offside pass? Is he past the line of scrimmage? So there's those things that are visuals where I don't think our job, anyway, will always be there. The visual for players, let alone fans, but players need to know.
Yeah, I hope, I understand the need for technology, and I think it would be ignorant not to be able to use technology, and I use this for all sports, but it's really important, I think, still to have a human eye and a human touch and human communication, as you so need to do so there with the coaches and the players, because someone's going to want answers, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
This is obviously going to be a real interesting year. Obviously, as I said off the top, the Bills are, amongst one of the 3 teams that are, favored to win the Super Bowl. I kind of don't like that kind of conversation, but that's because I'm an insane Bills fan. But it's also very special because it's season number 53 at Rich Stadium, Buffalo Stadium.
I'm glad you said Rich Stadium. Yeah,
it's the first one.
New era, I think.
A new era for field. As it stands right now, it's now going under the label of Old Highmark Stadium, and I'm sure you've made this drive several times, right? What are your thoughts of the old beast?
It's funny because I have 34 years of memories here, and I've even watched the transformation. People remember Doug Flutie may have saved the franchise when he went there, because that's when they were reducing the attendance, but adding in that ring there that you see, those middle club seats, and beneath those red club seats are those suites. And they took about 10,000 seats out, but added suites and club seats. And Doug Flutie revived it, and I think helped sell them because they were having trouble selling them because they're expensive, right? In a town like Buffalo.
And just before, they weren't good.
Yeah, and that's why, because they were lousy for a while too. So it's funny. I have so many memories, and what you just said there too. A lot of the memories are the drive to and from the stadium. And one of the first times that I can say to any of your viewers is, if you haven't been to Buffalo to experience what it's like, the first time you will go, there's nothing like it in the world. You will go crazy from what you hear, what you see, and what you smell. Like, as you drive up Abbott Road, in most cases, you can go there's so many ways in Big Tree Road, but I go up Abbott Road, and the sights, the sounds, the smell, the first time you do it is amazing, and it's something you'll never forget, and you can't believe the enormity of it. So I would say to anyone, if you can do it, do it. And if you can somehow do it this year before it goes to the new stadium, you got to find a way to do it. It's amazing.
I'm glad you said that. I have a gal pal friend of mine that is kind of introduced football to herself and some of her friends over the last couple of years, and we went to a Bills game together. And exactly what you said, we are taking a Abbott. That's just I'm old school. I'm doing the same thing, right? Even if it takes longer, right? And there's some other shortcuts if you really, really know the area. But you're right. The enormity of it, the enormity of the event, the enormity of the event, the people. The fact that it is just a sea of blue, red, and white. You're wearing those colors.
Yes.
Everyone's like, you can even go to a Ticats game and not everyone's wearing black and gold. Some are, many are.
Yes.
But in this situation, everyone, kids, women, girls, men, boys, it's insane. It's just it's a culture.
It's a culture.
It's a culture, and it is so amazing to see. And when you walk into that stadium, and now you do it from a different, we saw it on those pictures, you're doing it from that tunnel perspective. But when you come in, maybe like where your season tickets are, and you're walking through the tunnel to go to your seats, and you're walking, once you walk into that bowl, which is dug into the ground, and you just see, you're like, wow, there's more people in this building than there is in the entire town of Milton.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's so true.
It's insane.
Yes. You know, one of the things they've added in the last several years, which I absolutely love, I would say a flyover is probably one of the best things, but this is close to it, is they've got a legend of the game. And after player introductions and anthems, they have a legend of the game in the corner, get the crowd going with the, hey, 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 let's go Buffalo, and the crowd repeats it. Then they do the Marv Levy, which is, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this. Where else would you rather be than, and that's what the legend says, and the crowd finishes it with right here, right now. And a lot of times I'm walking through the visitors bench because depending on which way the kickoff's going, because we've had the coin flip then, and this is just the 30 seconds before kickoff when they do this. And I've been walking through the visitor bench a lot of occasions and seen the players on the visitors side in awe of this moment that's going on in the stadium, and how 70,000 people are in the palm of that legend's hand giving the hey, 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 let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, and the where else would you rather be than right here, right now. And you know, Marv Levy, 100 years old, just recently, like, unbelievable gentleman and coach and just unbelievable. But what he started with that is incredible. Like, that is something that is just, it's powerful.
It's a Bills anthem. There's no doubt about it. But as we transfer, as we did too for many years out of Iverwin Stadium, a place that has so many memories for you and I, high school championships, being on the turf, playing in those games way back when we were in high school. There is eventually a Tim Hortons Field or Hamilton Stadium or whatever they're calling it now. Right?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they still call it Porter Stadium, Porter Airlines Stadium.
Yeah, that might be coming up.
Like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Hint, hint. But there's an old and then there's a new. What are your thoughts about the new Highmark Stadium from what you can see at this point? It looks spectacular.
It's enormous. Yeah, it's enormous. And it's funny you say that, because here's the things that I think about right now. It isn't the roof. It is a little bit of the covered thing and how loud it's going to be, because they built it like an echo chamber with the cover over the thing. But, you know, here's what I think of the most, actually, is what's my locker room going to be like? So, I know this is selfish. Bubba's laughing because he knows, well, that's typical Foxy, being selfish, worried about himself. We have such a great setup right now. My locker is huge in my current setup here. We're attached, the officials and us all are together kind of, and we got a huge locker, and it steps away from the field, which is great more at halftime. Like, because at halftime you got 12 minutes. It's in and out, right? So you may put some different clothes on because the weather changes. You go to the washroom real quick, boom, a quick snack or a cookie, and bang, we're right back out there. So I'm worried about, where is our locker room going to be situated to the field? Because in Skydome, as an example, at Skydome, when we had those games there, it was a mile away.
Really?
Like, we were so far away. So my worry and thought is about that. But I'm looking forward to the enormity of it, because it's huge. So I'm standing on the field now, and I can see the top part of the new stadium. And as you mentioned, the current stadium is dug down. So I'm down underground looking up, and I can see, so if from the visitor's sideline, I can see the new stadium. While I'm inside the existing stadium. That tells me it's huge. Like, look at that, how it dwarfs the old stadium.
And it's smaller capacity.
Smaller capacity. So I'm excited. I think they've done a wonderful job with it. I've been fortunate enough over the last couple of years, as I go to every game, I see how it's progressed.
Right.
So
right.
now I see it where like that is, to me, it's like it's finished on the outside basically, right? So now it's kind of working on the inside.
Yeah.
So it would be like when your friends have kids and you don't see them every year.
Yeah.
But you see them, they're 3, they're 5, they're 7, they're 9, and you're going, wow. Well, that's what it's been like for me with the new stadium.
Yeah, it looks
going to be
spectacular.
something, yeah.
And you kind of brought this up earlier. We were talking about Jack and his thoughts of moving the stadium to a different location. I think maybe some of the technology that's in this building right now might eliminate some of the issues that old Highmark Stadium had to deal with, because it appears from what I read and what I see and some instructional videos, like, and maybe even you yourself on the field,
right?
You might not be affected by if there's inclement weather because of the heated sort of cover that's on it. It's going to be natural grass.
Yeah, heated natural
grass. And if it does snow, it's just going to end up on the field.
Yeah,
it'll only affect the game, so the crowd won't feel it like they would in the old ballpark.
I agree. And you know the biggest thing, if it ever snows enough where the field would be affected to the point where it affect the game, that tells me that it's probably snowing so hard that the game wouldn't be played anyway because no one could get to the stadium.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's a blizzard.
Right.
So the game is going to be moved or canceled anyways, right? If it gets that bad. Yeah. But to your point, it's so well done. It's going to be interesting that how the technology and the advancements of it is going to be something to behold.
Yeah,
you know?
they say it's going to cut down the wind, which is, as you well know, there's a lot of kickers over the years.
Yes, exactly.
Come into Buffalo and disappeared.
Like what the heck was that?
Yeah.
But you're right. The wind and wet is the toughest part to deal with because that's what makes you colder.
Right.
It's difficult. So I'm excited to see.
Well, 2026, that season just a year away basically from that new facility going up, but there will be a part of me because as you well know, I used to hop up in my VW Golf GTI by myself for many years. There was this section there from probably about 91 to 93.
Right.
I didn't miss a game. I just went by myself and would hop there, get a ticket. Never bought a ticket online. Well, you couldn't get online, but I would just get it off somebody.
At the corner. Southwestern and Abbott.
And it was easy because it was, I just need a single.
Yeah, single.
Right? It was so easy for me to do it. And at that time, as you said, at that time, Rich Stadium was 80,000.
Right.
There was no private boxes, right?
No.
So again, it was just mad people from Buffalo that just loved their football team. And I hope that still translates to the new building.
One guy I want to mention, I think we had the picture up with me and Peter Moore earlier, right? But the guy we were waving to was Dave Nelson. Dave Nelson was one of you guys in the crowd, and he was season ticket holder, and he got friendly with like Jim Kelly and would go to the after parties and that, and a great friend of ours. Like just so it was kind of neat when I saw that picture. I remember, boy, that brings back memories with Dave Nelson, who again this year went into the Burlington Sports Hall of Fame,
and well deserved. Well deserved. You want to touch football in Halton?
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Let's come a little closer to home and close up on this. It's really important to get your feelings here on Labor Day, and we always want to call it the Labor Day Classic. And as I said on the post-game show, we love calling it the Labor Day Classic. Unfortunately, it was a classic that did not work in the favor of the Tiger Cats. I'll leave the floor to you here from what you saw, what the moment felt like for you, the build-up to it. Go away.
Yeah, the whole the good, bad, and ugly of it. First of all, it's Labor Day, so we're all loving it, and the whole day and the whole weekend is around getting to the Labor Day Classic. So the first thing that I loved that we did, and I thought it ensured the victory, we deferred the coin toss. We win and deferred, but then in the second half, we took the wind in the fourth quarter instead of taking the ball. So the Argos received both half kickoffs. And I thought by taking the wind in the fourth quarter, we won. Don't even play the fourth quarter. We're up 13, I think. Stop the game. Everybody go home happy because we have the wind in the fourth quarter. Genius move, coach. Well done. However, the defense, I think, we've just forgot to show up. So the other thing I thought that it bugged me was we gave up 2 single points on a 65-yard punt and a kickoff. And I know we don't have any returners right now in the line. Everyone's hurt.
Yep.
And after, I think, the first one, we ended up putting 2 guys back on punts and so on. So good adjustment. But the damage was done. Those 2 single points ended up costing us overtime at the end, as it turned out. So I agree with Coach that, the offense just sputtered in the first half and so on. We didn't have really a run game established. But then just the last play, it was, I think, errors all the way around, and there's the Lawler catch at the end there, and too bad we couldn't get the 2 point. So the whole way down, is catch it, go for 2. And then when we didn't get 2, now the game to me was extended, because if we got the 2-point convert, then we're looking at overtime with a field goal. But this play here, the 2 defenders, that's tough, right? That's just a bad break. And then at the end, I think Brissett made equally as much of a misplay by running so long to get the touchdown.
Yeah, because he could have just took a knee.
Yeah. Take a knee there, run out of bounds at the 20. But I don't think he had a clue at what the time was on the clock, or that it was a chance of the clock running out. And then the Argos got lucky. They got the Argo bounce, and it was the bounce of the time clock. And Brother Dave, who was in the replay center, now this probably was shown on TSN, but I don't have TSN when I'm sitting in row 12, right? So he sent us the clips of the still shots of foot out of bounds, 1 second on the clock. So we knew he made the right call. You could see
it on the TV broadcast. There was no disputing it. It was hard to it's like, wow, his foot is out of bounds. There is 1 second left on the clock.
The hard part for me was giving up the 2 singles off the kick and the punt, and then not getting the 2-point convert ended up to be critical. But that's a 50-50 play. You can't, but then the defenders colliding and not making that play.
And the good ones too.
Yeah.
Like Amos and Katsatonis.
Love those guys. Love those guys.
But I always, when it all happened, all I could think about was Chris Berman. Knock it down!
Exactly. Knock it down. And so that was frustrating. But then Brissett almost single-handedly bailed us out.
Yes.
And it came down to they got the Argo bounce on the clock.
So the Tiger Cats, who were 6-2, and over here at my sports area for the newscast, and I'm calling for Grey Cup.
I'm thinking it's easy. Right. Yeah,
6-2.
Yeah,
so now 6-5.
6-5,
and going to Montreal this weekend.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow, depending on when you're watching, but. Now I'm concerned. Now I'm not confident. I went into the last several games confident as can be. I went into Labor Day pretty confident, but now I'm like, because Montreal's getting healthy. And that scares me. And what also scares me, so Toronto plays Edmonton next, who are no slouch. Edmonton's better than their record. But I'm thinking Toronto could still finish first. Like earlier, 6-2, I'm going, great, make plans for the Eastern Final. Like in Hamilton, no problem. We're probably going to the Grey Cup. No, now I'm like, this is a wide open race.
Yes.
And then here's the bigger thing. Can we or anyone who comes out of the East beat the 4th place team in the West? Because that's who's coming over. Like only 2 teams in the East are making the playoffs.
Yeah, the crossover is it's in play this year. It's in play,
and I think it's really in play. Yeah. Like I don't know if we can beat BC or whoever it is. Yeah. Like it's a tough one.
It can be said though that it has been done. The crossover team have won the semifinal game. Right. Sorry, not the semifinal, the divisional game.
Yes.
But they have never, ever won the East Final. I think it's been 2 or 3 that have done it, that have gotten there and been crushed in the end.
That's right.
But
this year, the way the West is, wow. Like, who's the best team in the West?
Calgary.
Is it? Yeah. But is it Saskatchewan? Like, Saskatchewan would say, raise our hand. Like, hey, don't forget about us, right?
They're leading in the standings. Yeah. But their 2 losses this season are to Calgary.
To Calgary. And then here's another one. Winnipeg. Just because why? It's Winnipeg.
It's Winnipeg.
It's Mike O'Shea and Zach Caleros. Like, scary. I don't want any part of them.
We haven't played them yet.
Exactly. So that's my concern. Like, Winnipeg just, like, before Labor Day, Mike O'Shea, like, he's carrying around his clipboard. He's doing, like, did I tell you, Mike O'Shea in Montreal one time, I ran into him outside of the corned beefs. I forget the name of the place now, but where you get
Pub?
like where you get the corned beef Montreal smoked meat
yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
So, and then later at the game, I see him and he goes, "Well, that was the best hour I ever waited for a 12-second sandwich." Because when you go to Montreal, you have to have the smoked meat sandwich.
right.
And I forget. My brother's going to kill me for not knowing the name of the place. But everybody goes. And it's like a 45-minute wait outside to get your sandwich. And Mike O'Shea's in line. And then later that was the best hour wait for a 12-second sandwich.
It's delectable. But the place you're talking about, which is the most popular place, it's not the best. I've gone actually to the best. It's in a different part of Montreal.
Oh,
it's apparently it's like secretive. Only the Montrealers go there.
Okay, so
because now the place you go to, that's the tourist trap.
Yeah, that's the tourist trap, and it is a tourist trap. It's 45 minutes of, and there's no Montrealers there.
No, and it's like $29 for the sandwich.
It's like when you go to for Oktoberfest or go to Germany and go to the Hofbrauhaus in Munich. You don't see any Germans there.
No Germans there.
But it's the Hofbrauhaus.
Hey, love that you've come on. Hey, great. Congratulations again on year
34.
Year 34 on the chain crew, and hopefully that technology and you guys, you can all work that out. And as we've seen in sports, when there are rule changes or technology, there's some adjustment periods, and that it's not something that angers the fans too much, because you will hear it.
Bob's at our age now and being in year 34. I'm just worried about on Sunday night that I can stay awake long enough for the end of the game. Like these 8:20 kickoffs, they're tough.
That's true, especially when I wake up in the morning too.
Right.
Anything. But congratulations on that, and congratulations on all the things you do. Thank you for supporting me, supporting this podcast, all that you do in Hamilton. Believe it doesn't go unnoticed, and the fact that you still give back to a lot of those high schoolers, and you know, if anyone has ever not been to the Burlington Sports Hall of Fame, which is tough. It's a tough ticket because it sells out every year. You got to make it, because this guy is the #1 show host. I know there's some other great ones out there. Ralphie comes to mind.
Right, yes,
he's one of the premier ones. You stand right with the cat. And you do a great job of entertaining the crowd and doing what you do. So, again, thank you for all you do, buddy.
Thank you. We appreciate people. We acknowledge them, and we try and have fun and laugh while we do it. And you and I, no different. You know, how many people, and I know you got to go, but how many people do you stay close with measured in decades? That's been you and I. Like it's 3 or 4 decades now. It's not just 3 or 4 years. No, it's decades.
Without a clumsy moment.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
It's amazing. I cherish you a lot.
Likewise.
All right, my man. Thank you so much for joining us. That's your Sportsline Podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports. And I love talking sports with Foxy. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline Podcast, want to hear from you. Please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. If you have something to say, we always appreciate your comments. For the outstanding people that make the Sportsline Podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we'll see you soon.